हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम टू एवरीवन। और आज हम न्यू सीरीज़ स्टार्ट करने लगे हैं और ये है जावास्क्रिप्ट फ्रॉम बिगनर टू एडवांस। सो कंप्लीट सीरीज़ इंग्लिश में होगी और इसको शुरू करते हैं हम आज और देखते हैं सम इंट्रोडक्शन देखते हैं। वी आर स्टार्टिंग आवर न्यू सीरीज कॉल्ड द जावास्क्रिप्ट फ्रॉम बिगनर टू एडवांस कंप्लीट कोर्स। दिस इज़ द पार्ट 1, दिस इज़ द लेक्चर 1, and before we are going to see our course outline, we are just know something about the JavaScript. So here we go. What is the JavaScript? Some facts about the JavaScript. So number 1 is developed by Brandon H in 1995. Yes, exactly. The language initially was called the LiveScript and was later renamed as the JavaScript. It's developed by the Brandon H in 1995. Number 2, it's a client-side scripting language. Yeah, we can say JavaScript is a very powerful client-side scripting language. JavaScript is used mainly for enhancing the interaction of the user with the web pages. Or we are never say wrong if we say that without the JavaScript our web pages, our websites is incomplete. In other words, you can make your web pages more lively and interactive with the help of JavaScript. Number 3, widely used in a games development and mobile applications. Yeah, exactly. JavaScript is also being used widely in a game development and mobile applications development. Java and JavaScript are not same. Yeah, here is a huge difference in between the Java and the JavaScript. But there are many programmers who think that the JavaScript and Java are the same. But in fact, JavaScript and Java are very much unrelated. Java is a very complex programming language, whereas the JavaScript is the only scripting language. But we can say that the syntax of the JavaScript is mostly influenced by the programming language C. So number 5, the JavaScript can easily run on any operating system. All operating system supports the JavaScript. Yes, exactly. All operating system. JavaScript runs in any operating system including Windows, Linux, Mac. And the number 6 is the JavaScript cannot run on its own. So what is being a scripting language, the JavaScript cannot run on its own. In fact, the browser is responsible for running the JavaScript code when a user requests an HTML page with the JavaScript. Or we say that the script sent to browser and it is up to the browser to execute it. The main advantage of JavaScript is that all modern web browsers support the JavaScript, so you do not have to worry about whether your site visitor uses the Internet Explorer or just Google Chrome or the Firefox, Opera or something else browser, Safari called like as a. So now we are moving and see there's a course outline. So this is our code outline. In the part 1 we discuss about the JavaScript basics. In this part basically the all task provides that illustrate some fundamental JavaScript techniques and skills, and if you have never used JavaScript before, this part is for you. It provides an example that illustrates the basic of the creating scripts and the using the JavaScript. So in this part we have solved I think the 43 tasks in this part. Now we're starting our first lecture. It's a creating a script block, task 1. So I already told you before all that this is task 1 at creating a JavaScript or creating a script block. The JavaScript is a dynamic scripting language, as I already told you before, that allows you to build interactivity into otherwise static HTML pages. So this is our first task. This is done by embedding the blocks of the JavaScript code almost anywhere in your web pages. It means it doesn't matter. So you can write your JavaScript code on a specific space in your web pages, in HTML page. It doesn't matter. So you can easily write anywhere in your page. But it's important to make this work block JavaScript code by opening and closing a script tag. So we are just right here script tag, and script tag one more important attribute. It's called the language. So we are clicking here, and later then you see the language specified. The scripting language you are using, typically its value will be either JavaScript or JavaScript 1.0 or JavaScript 1.1 and 1.2 and so on. By the specifying a specific JavaScript version number, you are indicate to the browser that script can only run on the browser that supports a specified version. So we are writing here the JavaScript simple, and inside the tag we are just going to complete our first task, and first task is creating the JavaScript block. So guys, this is the block of the JavaScript here. So we are creating a successfully block, but something we are trying to show, or we are just trying to get a result on our browser inside the JavaScript. So we are just writing here document dot write, and then brackets, and inside the brackets we are just passing a string value which we want to show on our browser. Let's call hello world, and by the ending of this statement we are just give a semicolon. It's called the end statement or the termination of our line. Our code is complete. So this is really very important. So we just save it, and we are moving to the, here is a task 1. So we are just moving to JavaScript, and we are just give to opening Firefox, and let's see the result, hello world. So if we are click here and view the source page, you can easily show the head document.write inside the hello script was print in our screen on our screen. So the task 1 is complete.
In this lecture we cover 2 parts. One is the hiding your JavaScript code, task 2, and task 3, providing alternatives to your JavaScript code.
So here we start the task 2 is hiding your JavaScript code. But guys, in this task it's important that you're hiding your JavaScript code for which browser which is not support the JavaScript basically, but all browser are modern browsers are support JavaScript, as I later told you. So we are just trying to block the JavaScript from any browser like as a Internet Explorer and see the result of how it's work. So we are inside the body just creating a script again, and then language JavaScript select a version, JavaScript select a version, and then we are just select the document dot write, and then brackets start and statement, and here is a task 2. So we save this file and go inside our JavaScript and see the result. So here's the printer task 2. It's not hiding basically. Why? Because our Firefox can easily understand this is the JavaScript, and JavaScript enabled browser Firefox is also, so that's why here's not working. But if we are trying to something like as an Internet Explorer, so it's by default block the JavaScript code. So that's why you can see here's a allow the block content, and then it's showing on our screen. So hiding basically by using the HTML comments passing on our code like as a multi-line comment technique. This is the multi-line comment technique. But here you see it can't be work. So this is the technique of HTML working, and later then we save it and going in our browser again, and you see it's not hiding because this browser is totally support the JavaScript. So that's why. But we are, if we are using the technique alternative. So if we say the no script, not the inside the script tag, sorry, we are writing here no script, and inside if we print anything like as we are print hello world. So now you see the results are not same here basically. So no script tag inside the tags are not showing basically on our browser, because no script, it means for the which browser was really do not support the JavaScript, but this browsers totally support JavaScript. That's why inside the no script text are not showing on our screen basically. So here this is the technique, and here is the part of our task 3. So we are completing basically the 3 part 1, 2 and 3. So the no script by the providing alternatives to your JavaScript code. So alternative, this is the alternative thing to JavaScript, the no script call for those browser who are not support to the JavaScript codes. That's why. So now we are starting that our task 4 is including outside the source code. As you begin to work more extensively with the JavaScript, you will likely to find that there are cases where you are reusing identical JavaScript code on multiple pages of a website. So we are technique for multiple using. We are just create here a new, and we are just going to the JavaScript here. So we can write here the JavaScript code like as a document dot write. Document means the all document, we are writing something on our document basically. So document dot write and then bracket start, this is the end statement, and inside this we are pass strings. So here we are just show our task 4. We save this file basically like a task 4.js, and we are not writing here inside the scripts, inside the script tag any JavaScript code. So we are just creating a script. This is script and language. So but here we and other important attributes of script is called the source src, and then you can see your all pages inside your folder. So we are click here the task for the JS, and now we are save this task for an HTML and see the results. So here we go, and you see the result. Our task 4 is here because, and when we are trying to view source page, you cannot see inside here any that we are writing the our task 4, but inside the task 4.js we can easily see the document dot write in our task 4 here. So in these cases you don't want to be maintaining the identical code in the multiple HTML files. Luckily the script tags provide you the mechanism to allow you to the store scripts JavaScript in the external file and including into your HTML file later. So our task 4 is complete. So we are starting our task 5 is the committing on your scripts. All the script examples seen in the previous task have been short. At the most they have been a couple lines long. However, your skills advance, you will likely build a long complicated scripts in future. So basically by the passing comments we are just ensure that our scripts can be understood by other developers. Also help to remind you on your own thinking when you're returning your code after some time later. You should inserting a comments into your code that explain you that why the code is designed on that time and what the way was it. So the JavaScript provides you the two type of comments. Basically, one is single line and second one is a multiple line. So here we go to see the result basically. So we are just typing our script, then language is a JavaScript, and inside the script says something like it's a document dot write, and then we are just inside the this is, and in the second line we just copy it and paste it, and this is task 5. We just save it in the task 5.html, and now we are moving to just see the result. And you see this is a task 5. We are just write code here in the 3 lines, but our browser is showing on the single line. So this is the JavaScript technique. Basically, without space or without break a line, it understand either it's a 3 different statements, but JavaScript can understand that this is in the one single line script, single line code for just taking a single line. So that's why. So by the passing the comments, so we are just passing comments by the two first of comments, a single line comments. Basically, let's suppose we write this code for this code in task 5, and now you see the results. So this is the comment, and it can't be shown on our page basically, but later then we are type something here and save, and you are see the code is not running basically. So it doesn't understand basically the HTML page what exactly this is, what's the WA. So we are using for this technique as multiple line comments, like as a just by pressing this, and this is the multi-line comments. We are typing something here, and this is the multi-line comment, but we are use this technique only for single line. So I write here single line comments. It's working only in a single line, and this is called the multiple line comments. And we are also just hiding our some sort of code for the time period. Let's try to hide this one. The document are right in the 5, so we are just passing a single line comments here, and now you see the result here is not show the task 5 and dot, because we are hiding this from the technique of comments line by using passing the comments line. So we are remove it again, and now we see the result here is the 5 and dot is here. So here is the technique of the single line comments and multiple line comments for only build your idea to ensure your script can be understood by other developers, and also to help remind you on your own thinking basically. So that's why it's a really very important. Being a programmer, you must be passing the comments when you're just writing a code, and your code is not for being that time only the 20 or 20 lines. It maybe goes to the 1000 of lines, so it's too difficult for you in the future to just understand your code after some time. So the technique of the by passing comments is a really very important for all programmers. So now we are starting our task 6 is a writing a script JavaScript command. In the previous task you have been seeing the example of the JavaScript commands. All JavaScript scripts are made up with a series of the command. It's a most basic form. A command is some set of the JavaScript code by the ending with a semicolon. For instance, the all following or the something else. So we are just trying here to write our command, and we already know about the command. So it's a script language JavaScript. So document dot write, and then inside this task 6. This is basically a JavaScript command that JavaScript understand that the document will just understand that something is a write inside the brackets, inside write on the document by ending semicolon, by ending, it's called the end statement or the termination of the statement or end statement call. So this is the code JavaScript command. Basically we have already seen in our task 1, 2, 3, 4 and so here we start our task 7. It's a temporary removing a command from the script. And guys, I already told you before in the lecture 5, I think the comment section, so how to temporarily remove any command by using that comments technique. So now we are just save this as 7 lecture, and we are just going, and you see the task 7 and the world. So hello is not printing basically here, but hello is there here because of we are just remove temporary this command from, and now we are just checking and the hello is there. So this is the technique for the temporary removing a command from the script. At some time when you are working on the some particularly complicated JavaScript code or a facing bug that you just can't locate, then we are need to remove the lines of the code at the time until you identify your line, bug line of the code to fixing causing your grief. So however, you don't want to really delete the line, because when you have identified a fixed problem, you will be need to recreate any lines to delete it that were comments. So this is the technique for this. So and we are now to start task at using curly brackets. So what's the curly brackets? In addition to the simple commands that end with a semicolon, such as those you assign the task 7 and the task 6, the JavaScript supports the notion of the compound commands. A compound commands like it's a set of the group commands that together are treated as a single command and can be used wherever the JavaScript calls a single command, like as curly brackets we are just using inside the when we are some is a script language JavaScript, and curly brackets inside when we are checking just the condition type is a if, and then we passing any condition, and then we are just result here that the if it's a true condition will be true, so it's a code running, and inside the curly brackets all program or all the line of the commands can run if the condition will be true, otherwise it's a false, and going to the else, and we are just writing here else, and inside the else, so all the code inside else will be running if a condition will be not true. So that's here's the function of the curly brackets. We will decide, or we will talk deeply in the later when we are using the condition if or something like as a loop section in JavaScript. And now we are starting the task 9, the writing output to the browser. One of the most practical aspects of the JavaScript is the ability to the output text and HTML into the browser output stream from within your script. So the text and the HTML appears in browser as if were part of an actual HTML of the command. So you are basically using HTML tags or HTML all tags of attributes inside the JavaScript of this. So the writing output of the browser, the main thing is that the key to this in the document.write method. The document.write method, basically the method outputs any text HTML content in the argument to the browser. For instance, if you issue the following statement, document.write, let's suppose we are just greeting here and we are just applying some HTML text on the task 9, so we just write inside here, and here we see the results. So H2 we are closing, so we pass the task 9 in the H2. It's H2 is a heading 2 of the the HTML tag, and in this the series of tag from H1 to H6, so it's this called the heading tag. So now we are save this and just take a result in the task 9 basically, and you see the task 9 in the print in H2. And if we are using just here call strong, and now you see the results here. Now you see result. The task 9 basically is some sort of the bold letters, so the hello world is here. And other thing is a very important thing, when we are just writing the document.write inside anything, so it doesn't maintain any space here. But guys, if you are thinking that you are using JavaScript code outside from your task, or you're applying on this, you want to apply on this task 9, but you by mistakenly write the outside from your string value, so it can't be worked. So I've just it's caught error and our program are not running basically. So here, so you must be right inside your brackets, So I talked about the space maintain, so JavaScript automatically not space maintain basically here. So you see the result here, all words are same after the 9. Hello is combined and without maintaining any space, and world is. So we are just trying here to look like we are just write for this command, the java document.write line ln for the maintaining space, and we are same thing is here. So after 9 it's maintain a space, and after hello it's maintain space. So we are see our results, and now you see it's a look like better hello and word in between make a 1 space for the only line. It's a JavaScript tag, it's a document.write line. So we are completing the task. Now we start the task 10, so creating variable. A key programming concept is a notion of the variable. Like many other programming languages, JavaScript has a variable also, and the variables can thought of as a name, countries. You can place data into those containers for temporary time period, and then refer to the simply data naming by the containers and creating a variable, and variable called as like as a container, and you must have a container a name for letter them called. So you create a variable by simple assignment operation is a call. So here we go, and it's a good practice for all programmers. So you just write script code inside the header tag. So this is a good practice for all programmers, but it's not necessary. You can easily write anywhere in your web page, it doesn't matter. I already told you before by the passing. So it's a calls a variable name. So JavaScript understand that you're creating a variable by passing when your write is var. It means a short form of variable, then it's a name of variable, and the name of variable should not start from any special letter, special character, or any number. And the good practice is that you should must be write your variable name by the first letter as a small abc. We are just called as a day, and then pressing the equal sign and passing a value inside variable or passing a string inside variables called Monday. So it means the JavaScript understands that you have created a variable is called the day. It's a name of variable or name of the container's name is the day, and the passing you value inside the container is called the Monday. So this is the technique, and we are just writing here the many variables like is where month and equal to inside we are passing just December. So here we make a lot of the variables, and variables are like as a container to store some data inside a container for some time period, and later we can use in our pages or something. So our task is complete 10, and now we are moving to the task. So here we start our task number 11, and it's outputting a variable. And a variable, as I already told you before in the previous lectures, that variables are like as a containers that hold the values for some time. So you can use them wherever you would normally use the same values in your web pages. And a perfect example of a variable is a text string. So here we start, and let's see our results here. So here we start call a script, write a script, then language, and selecting language as JavaScript, and normally, and I show you an example like as we write a document dot write, and then we passing a string value here for just taking output in our browser. So we just write here, let's suppose hello world, and save them in the task 11 in html, and here is we already open the task 11, and you see the results are here, but we are where is this? Okay, so a variable, you can use the document.write method to the output any string, as I told you before, of the text to the in any browser. For instance, there is no reason why a string of text could not be assigned to a variable, and then a variable to be used as like the output of the text. So you just use the variable in the place of a string text as an argument in the document.write method. So we just write here, and you see in the previous lecture we learned about where we use for creating a variable. Then I just write a variable name and is equal to, and I assign a value in a variable like as a Sunday. We save this file, and just going here and passing here variable is called a day, and just save. And now you see result inside the day. It's a day is a variable is called with the word var. It's a used for variable, and day has assigned a value is a Sunday. So document.write is print for using the print, and day is equal to the Sunday. So we are just taking result here, and you see the Sunday is here because of the variable. So the outputting is a variable is a very easy method inside the JavaScript. So here you can easily use the variable. Hi, so now we starting our task 12, and this is the creating a string. So when working with the data and variables in JavaScript, you need to be aware of the data types you are using, and the different data types are managed in the different ways, and it's so important to understand a few fundamentals of the data type. So one such data type is a string. A string refers to any sequence of text. Again, any sequence of text that can contain letters, number, punctuations, and special characters inside. When specifying a text string in JavaScript, you need to enclose the string in a single or double quotes. For instance, as the following are valid strings. These both are the valid strings. Hello, my name is Vakas. My phone number is +1 123 12345. But the following are not a valid text strings. In the first case, the opening quotes and there's a double, but the closing one is a single quote. You can use either single or double quote, but the opening and closing ones must be same. So here is we must be same, either starting from the double quotes or single quote. It doesn't matter to creating any variable. So we are just, here is the correct variable, and we create a variable like this var, and then we call my variable is equal to, either it's a double quote or in single quote, it doesn't matter. So both are right, or both are the correct strings, valid strings. So here's, and now we are starting to resolve our task 13 is creating a numeric variable. And when working with the data types and the data and the variables in JavaScript, I already told you before in the lecture 12, task 12, you need to be aware of the data types you are using. The different data types are managed in a different ways, and it's so important to understand the few fundamentals of data type. One such the data type is a number. Number refers to any number, either it's a positive or the negative number, but it must be contain the only number. And when specifying a number in JavaScript, you should not enclose the string in a single or double quotes. If you do it well, it will be treated as a text string or not a number. So here is some examples. So the few example is like as 100 and some minus 101.53. the both are the numeric variables. But if we write like this 250.25.3, or we just say AB32, these both are following are not a valid text strings, but these are the valid numeric strings. So in the first case, the quotes makes the value the text string. In the second letter means it is not a value of the numeric. So it's not only the numeric value, and I already told you that it contains only the text, only the numbers inside. So here we see, let's suppose we are just create a document dot write for printing, and inside we are just type here the 100 and save it. Then we are just going here and open it, and you see the results 100 in printing on our screen. Because of this, we are just passing here is a number. This is a valid number variable. But if we put inside the double quotes, it also shows here, but as a string. It's a not number, as the JavaScript and browser treated as a variable. It's this number as a string, but not the number variable, numeric variable. So here's the example. Or another, we are just creating here var number is equal to 10, and when we are just printing here number, and you will see the results here is number 10 printing on our screen. Because of this, we save the 10 value numeric variable value inside the number, and we are just printing here the number. So here it is the number. So it must be contains, or it must be a numeric variable, otherwise inside a single quote it's treated as a string but not the numeric variables. And when you are trying to calculation in performing the mathematical some equations, so you will be getting the error inside if you are just trying to use numeric variable like this, because the computer and the browser doesn't understand this method is like and treated as a string variable, not the numeric variable. So we are starting our task number 14. It's a performing maths. So when working with the numeric variables or numeric values in a JavaScript, you can perform the mathematics with the numbers. Not only can you add, subtract, multiply and divide the numbers, but you can also perform other advanced mathematical calculation inside the JavaScript. Here are the 4 mathematical operations as follow: addition, for instance, as example 10 plus 20, subtraction, multiplication and division. And in the addition, you can pull the complex mathematical expressions using the combination of these operations. For instance, the following expression: subtract from the 100 divide by 5, not expression, subtract 10 from the 100, result 100 divided by the 5. So here's a, but you can overwrite orders of operations with the parentheses. Consider the following mathematical expression like this. So we are passing parentheses here, and we overwrite basically the order operations with the help of the parentheses. So we are just right here and see the result. How to, it's a like as we are creating a variable called is a number 1, and inside we are just assign a value at 10 and create an other variable is called a number 2, and inside the variable assign a value of 5, and just we are here write the document dot write, and inside the write function, calling write function, we are just writing here is a number 1 plus number 2, and now you will see the results is here inside. Result here is showing on your screen. Printing is a 15. Because of this, we are just here to pass a plus sign, addition sign inside the number 1 and number 2. Inside the number, we have assigned number 1 value as 10 and number 2 assigned the value of the 5. So here the result is here, and if we are see just our this one addition, so we are just right here 100 5 10, and inside the number we creating variable number 3 inside the 5. So we are just here creating another variable called the result is equal to number 1 divide number 3. Because of inside the number 3 we assign a value of the 5, and 5 is here, and minus number 2. And now you see the results. We are just creating here document dot write for just printing our results on the browser. So we are just results, we are just pass as an argument as a variable result, and now you see the results is here. It's a result of 10. Why 10? Because it's divide firstly, and then it's a minus here 15 5 and divide, then so it's a result showing on our screen is a 10. So result is here. Inside the number 1 is 100 divide into the 5, so result will be in the 20, and then minus 10 here, so result will be 10, and in our screen it's printing the 10. But we can overwrite this operation with the help of parentheses, so we are just using here and now you see results is a minus 20. Because of this we just pass inside the parentheses here. So So now we are starting our task 15, and it's concatenation strings. So with the text string you cannot perform mathematical operation like those described for numbers in task 14 as already we learned. So the most common operation performed with the text is a concatenation. Concatenation refers to the act of the combining two text string in a one longer text string. So now we start and see the what is the concatenation and how it's work. So we are creating a variable is called my var, and we are just passing a value of string value here. So we just call the hello. We are creating another variable is my var1, and inside I just passed a value is there, and we are going to print it as a document or write, and inside the variable I have just put my var, and now you see the results hello is printing on our screen. And what is the concatenation? Concatenation, as I already told you before, that it's an act of combining two text string in a one longer text string. So we are just creating here another variable is called like as a my variable 3 is equal to my var plus my var1. And in this situation, plus sign is basically concatenation, the two text inside in the one. It's not the addition of, because these are the strings and these are not be going to add. So these are not a numeric variables, basically a numeric, so it's going to be add. So here's the working with this plus sign is only for the concatenation two variables, and now you here print is just a variable 3, and you got the result hello there. And other example, if I just want to we are creating a my variable 1, and now you see the results. We are just type is a he plus when we are trying to print this document dot write my var1, and now you got the results. These are combining basically the two short statements or two short string inside the one. If this is the plus sign for just, and you got the results is. And now we starting our task 16 is searching for text inside the string variable or string value. Basically, when working with a text string, sometimes you need to determine if a string contains some specific substring, and if it does, you need to determine where in the string that substring occurs. So for instance, if you have a string, let's suppose my name is Wakas, and you search to substring name, you want to know that substring contains name but also where it occurs. You can perform this type of the search with the help of search method inside the string apply on the string object. To the perform this search is simple. We are just typing here, let's we example take example that my name is Wakas and I am fine. So this is a string, and if we must search inside the string of the substring is called the name, so we use the method of searching inside the JavaScript. So let's we go and do it how it's work. So we first of all we creating a variable and it's called my info, let's suppose, and inside I just pass this value. And now if I really want to search that where exists is or name or Vakas and I am, so I cannot know inside the basically in which location it occurs. So we just typing here. So we are creating a new variable. It's called my search is equal to then my info, passing our first variable and then dot search. And inside the search we are just typing here our text, our string, and let's suppose I just pass it the name, and now I taking result or printing his results on his screen. So I just write here as a document dot write and passing my search. So what's the result? Now first of all we just take a look on our result and then we are return back and discuss this what exactly the search method works in JavaScript. So here we are going here in JavaScript and it's a task 16, and here's an any mistake. Okay, it doesn't save. So now it's on the position of 3, and if I search in the Vakas, let's suppose, and now you got the results, it's 11, is on the 11th position of 11. Now you are very much confused that how it's a work. If the name is on the 3rd, but how it's a possible the Vakas on the 11th position 11. So basically the work is here, it's count like this is a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and in the front of this space basically it doesn't count, but the browser not count, doesn't count basically. So here is our number of the 10, and on the position of 11 is a Vakas exist. And if I say like as a is, so if you are searching and it's a position on 8, and how it's a work, and again you can count, it's a 1 2 3 5 6 7 8, sorry 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and on the position 8 because the very front one space it doesn't be count, this space is not count basically browser, it's a count in the last letter. So the letter E on the 7 position and IS on the 8th position. So here's the searching criteria of this searching method, and you can easily search the all thing in your string, basically string this method for the searching for the string. So if we are just find the find in 26, and you can count, so here is M on the 25th position and find on the 26 basically. So now we are starting our lectures. Sorry, the task 17 is replacing text inside the strings. In the task 16 you saw that it is possible to search for the text inside the string. Sometime thought you will want to search for find and replace text inside the string. So the string object provides the replace method also for just such type of purpose. So now we see the how it's a work. So we are creating a variable like as a my info, my name is Vakas and I am fine. We just write the same thing, we just write was right in the previous task. So and now we are creating another, so variable is a my replace called as a variable name. It's not necessary you write the my replace or something. You would like to want to just write a variable, select a variable name, but inside or the variable as per the JavaScript rules. On the JavaScript rules, not be content starts with any special character or number. It's a rule of the JavaScript for creating a variables, and we are already discussed on this previous lecture inside. So we are just right here the myinfo.replace, and the previous lecture we are using here the search, but we are not using here search because we are just replace this text, override the rules, and inside this we are passing basically the two values. So one number first we are find inside this text, we are just find the find and replace find into the good. So we are just right here good, and now we are taking results to document dot write and then my replace. And before we are going here, we are just for temporary comments on it passing, for just my viewers to understand that we are just simple printing first our value. It's a my info, and now we are just getting the results. Okay, sorry, where is the problem? Okay, so we are opening the task 17, and now you got the results. My name is Vikas and I am fine. And now we are just replacing it from our the previous. So we comment temporary comment here, and we are just, and now you see it's a override to the rules of Java, and here is the my name is Vikas and I am good. So we can find the word is a fine and can replace easily with another word. So first of all, replace working and searching inside the string the word is a fine exactly, and then going to replace it as another word we are just want to. So now we starting to resolve our task number 18. It's a formatting string, and when you create a text string in JavaScript, a string object is associated with that string. Obviously the string object provides a series of methods you can use to adjust a format of a string. This can be very useful when you want to display a string quickly. Some apply on some formatting to it. The methods as you see are the following are the some technical or some methods. Styling formatting methods are we can apply on a string. It's a bold, it's a big, small, italics, font color, font size, to lower and to uppercase to lowercase. These are really very useful in our programming world. So here we see how to format. We can easily format any string. So we can create a variable called my text is equal to how are you. We assign a value to my text as how are you, and now we are just printing, and you see document.write. Inside we pass basically my text. It's a task 18, and here we just see the how are you, and now you see the results here in the task 18 how are you. And now we can apply one by one and how to apply it. So we can easily apply my text dot bold, because bold is a function and it's a by default function of JavaScript. So when we are just calling a function, so we just pass the name after the name of function, the parentheses or these brackets to just call the function. So we call the function with the my text bold, and now you see the result, and here you see that our text is gone to the bold format. So it means our function is working, and now it just replace the functions big, and you see our text is as big as the original format, so we can apply one by one, and as italics, and now you see the result. Our text is italic format. But here is a font color and font size to lowercase to uppercase. Font color returns the string in font text with a set color attributes as an argument. So here is a different method to use basically font color. So we use here font color. We write this function as a font color, but which color we want to apply on my text or how are you. So we just pass in our argument attribute as an argument. So we are just passing here in bracket. Let's suppose I write it's a red, and now you see our text color is red, blue, and now you see blue. We are passing here in the two different types of two methods for the passing color. First one is the major color, the blue, black, yellow, white, green. So you can easily write here, but if you know about the color codes, let's suppose I write a code and this code is for the red, and now you see this is basically works perfect because of I write here a color of the red, and if I just write here, and now you see it's a green here, and if I just say this color, and now you see it's a blue here, because the color chart working as a RGB. It's two basically the two value of the color red. These one 2 for the red, these one the green RG, and these one for the blue. So we can easily max a 16 million of the colors inside this code, and this is in the hexadecimal value, in between the 0 to the F. It means the 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, then A B C D E F. So we are just writing here, and you can make easily color. If I want to make a yellow, then I just be on the red full on and green full on, and you see the colors yellow is here. So here is the technique, and you can easily write here also, and it's works. No, yellow is not working basically, so I think green, yellow. Okay, yellow is working because of I was not delete here from the hash sign. So but when you are write in color code, you must be start with the hash sign, then your browser understand that you write in color code. So here is the same thing as a color size, font size. So we are just writing a font size, and we are just put here the 5, and you see the results. Our text is larger than S, and now I'm passing the 6, and you see here is so. And one I just set is to the upper case, and now you see the all letters automatically converted into uppercase. You see how are you, these all are in uppercase. Wherever here is I write here only the H is capital, although all letters are small, but I just replace and overwrite this operation basically to just using this function to uppercase. And if I write here to lowercase, and you will see the H will automatically in lowercase. So here's the technique, the upper and lowercase. So these are the formatting strings, and we are starting task 19, applying multiple formatting functions to a string. In the task 18 you saw how to apply formatting functions to a string by manually. However, you can apply multiple formatting if you want. a way to do this is by assigning a new string to a variable at each step of the way. So here we can go, we are just typing a reservoir and my text is equal to how are you var new text. And here we can apply the multiple formatting functions on, and you can shortcut this by relying on the fact that each of these formatting methods return a string that is an object that in turn has its own set of the formatting methods that can be called. This allows you to string together your functions like this. And now we are just writing here the my new string equal to my text dot. When we want that our text shows in bold, so we just write here bold, and after the bold we just concatenation and then set to uppercase, and by passing font color inside pass we red and font size pass here 6. And here in the final we just getting the result by document.write, and inside we pass our new variable new text. And here is an 19 task, and I apply, and you will see here we are applying here the bold, uppercase, font color and font size in a single line, and all functions are applying and had already applied on our text, and you will see the result here. So here's a method for the applying multiple formatting functions to a string. So now we starting to resolve our task number 20, and it's a very complicated topic we have choose today. It's creating arrays. In addition to the simple data types such as a text, string and numbers, JavaScript supports a more complicated data type known as an array. An array is a collection as a collection of an individual values grouped together. An array essentially contains a series of the number containers into which you can place a value. Each container can contains a string, a number, or any other data type. You refer to containers in array as an array name inside the 0 by numbering starting from the 0, 1 and 2, so we can, and so on. So each of these individual containers and manipulated and used just like as a regular variable, you can imagine as an array illustrate. So I haven't shown any figure, I think I here. So here this figure you can see here, so like an imagine as an array illustrate. So here you see a set of boxes where each box is numbered, and each box has something inside. So each box has a number and each box has something inside. The box numbers are indexes and for each box, and the value inside the value of each array entry. These are the index, and these values are basically we stored in arrays. So this is in my perception, in my opinion, this is the best picture to show you the array. So creating an array, and our topic is today's creating array, and we are just type here to creating. But before we creating, the number of element is just an initial number of elements in array. You can add more on the fly as you work with an array, but it's a good idea initialize to an array with a likely number of elements you will use. The array is then accessed through array name basically, so we can access them by using the array name. So we are just typing here by creating a array. So we first of all like is a variable, and then let's suppose my array is equal to new array, and we just pass here the indexes, how many indexes inside the array. We just pass the 5 indexes basically, and these 5 are, I already told you in images, these 5 are indexes basically 1 2 3 4 and 5. When we are just writing here 5, basically we have created the 5 indexes 1 2 3 4 5, and so this is the technique of creating array, and our array is created. And inshallah in the next lecture we populating an array. So now we starting to resolve our task number 21, and in the previous task we have learned about how to create an array, and our today's topic and task is the populating an array. In the task 20 I showed you how to create an array, and an array isn't very useful, however, unless you can populate its implement with values. So you populate the elements as an array by assigning a value to the elements. Just you assign a value to the normal variable. We have just learned in before lectures how to assign a variable, how to assign a value in the normal variable, so you can easily assign as a normal variable. So here in addition, you can actually populate the array at the time you create it, instead of specifying the number of elements to create in the array. When you create it, you can specify a comma separated list of the value, the elements of array. So here we are going here and see the how, and basically there are two methods I have learned you, and I will show you how to assign a value in array. So here is two methods basically. So we are just writing our first method, so creating a var, and then I've just passed the day as a variable, as an array equal to new array, and inside I have passed, let's suppose it's 7. And now we set, so first of all I set a day, and then pass the brackets and equal to, we are just setting a value here, and I've just set the Monday, but the index here is a 7 and index on is a 0 index. All the time in the programming world, everything and indexes starts from the 0. So 0 it means it's a 1, and 0 to 6 means to the 7 indexes here. So I have just copied it and pasted it 7 times, and just write here the 1, it's a 2, it's a 3, it's a 4, it's a 5, and the last one it's a 7. It's a 6, index 6, but in the number is starting from 0, it's a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So we have just right here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and finally Sunday. So this is the one method and the second method is here. So we are creating a new day, another array, and call the same thing, new array. But now we are not passing here any number of indexes or 7, 8 or 10. We are just passing here the value by separating the comma, like as a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and like as something in the end of Sunday. So we are just creating here, and these both techniques are same and the both are working perfect inside the we are populating. So these two methods to just take, and when we are just calling the document, I will show you how to document dot write here, and inside I have just passed day and the index number, let's suppose 2, and now you see the task 21 here and the task 21 here. You will see result of Wednesday. Because of this, on the index 2 is a Wednesday, so we are just calling in print here the variable, so 0, and if I write here a 0, the result will be Monday. So the Monday. So this method works perfectly. And other we are just trying here, so it's a new day here, and we just write here 1, and you will see the result. This is the same as Tuesday. On the number 1 it's a 0 and it's a 1, so counting starts from the 0. It's a 1 on the position of the 1. So we are completing this task and will be meeting. So now we starting to resolve our task number 22, and it's a sorting an array. It's a special function inside the array. It's a very useful method. Once you have a populated an array and outlined in task 21, you might be find it useful to sort the elements in the array. Sometimes you will want to the output the elements of an array in order in which they were created and added to the array is very irregularly. So but at the other times you will want to them sorted. The array object provides a sort method that does just this. It returns a comma separated list of an elements in sorted order. Sorting sorting is performing ascending order alphabetically or numerically as appropriate. So here we start and we see. So first of all, we have just created an array. It's a var new array is equal to new. This is the array name which you want to just set the name. It's a new array, not the new array, or set something else. It's ABC, so it doesn't matter. Array here, and we have just created the 5 indexes and set them the ABC index 0 is equal to, let's try here to the Z, and we have just created, and then it's a W, then it's a then it's a G, and then it's a B, and we have just right here 3 and it's a 4. So 5 indexes are complete, and you see here that these all strings or indexes are irregular or descending orders basically, but the sort function basically, I've told you before, it's a sorting is performed in ascending orders alphabetically. So we have just, and here is we write as all descending. It's a Z, it's a 26 on, no, it's a last variable, it's not a variable but alphabetically in alphabet, and last alphabet in W, then A, G, and these all are the irregularly descending orders, but not the descending but irregularly. So we have just created here, and just see the how it's a sort basically work. So we have just write document dot write, and then passing out A, B, C, and then passing sort, and then we will see the result, and it's automatically ascending orders all alphabetic from number 1 the A, then B, G, W, and then C. So here we go and see the result, and you will see the results is here. First of all it's a A, then B, then G, then W, and C. And when if I have just deleted the sort function, so you will see the result are same. Here you can see that on index 0 is a Z, then W, A, G, and B, and now you refresh and you will see Z, W, A, G, and in the last is a B. So sort method basically just doing this thing is a sort. Is just get a result in ascending orders as by the alphabetically. So we are starting our task number 23. Is a splitting a string at a delimiter. So what is the delimiter? It's a new concept. So in the programming it is not uncommon to deal with the data represented in the delimited list. Basically a delimited list is typically a string that contains a number of substrings separated by a specific character like as a comma. Each of the substring is an element in the list. So here I have just shown you an example that how is a delimiter work and how the splitting string. So basically we have created a variable. It's called let's suppose it's called ABC, and then we assigning a value by separating a comma, that A, comma B, comma C, comma D. We are passing a value, assigning a value to the variable ABC, and when we are just getting result here document.write. So I will show you how it's looking before splitting, and it's A, B, C. And now you see the results. It's a task 23 I think, and here is it's a task 23. Okay, so here you can see the results. Because of this we have just passing assigning a string value to variable ABC, and it's a browser understand that it's a single string, but we can, without using an array, we can split these strings as a substring. Each, this is a substring, this is a substring, this is a substring, and this is a substring. We can treat like this. So by using a delimiter and a split function, basically split method. So we are just just forget this, I have committed, and now I've just make a variable. It's a new, and it's like as a new ABC, and it's equal to ABC dot split, and split, which type of split? Split from, I have already told you before that a substring contains a string that contains a number of substrings separated by a specific character, and these all substrings are separated by the special character called this comma. So we split them by using the comma here, and now you can see the results. So we are just write here document dot write, and inside the document I have just passed new ABC index 0 here, and now it's a split by using, and this is the index 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this on the position index 3. So we have just copied it. This is a string array. Basically we can call the string array, but it's not an array. We have already talked about in the task 20 and 21. So this is a string array, and now you can see the result here, and now you see the results are here. And if I just deleted this one or comment this one, so you can see these all are the substrings basically in a single value, but we are just splitting here by separating the comma, and these all are now the substrings basically. So that's why they are print on our screen by using the indexes. So here and before this, if I've just write here, or just it's a plus sign, and just I break a line BR, and I will show you how it's a look like, and you will see here is a single data here is inside the ABC, but we can split here by using the split method, and split is from the special character inside our value. So we can split them one by indexes, and now we are just coming for this someone is like 1, and now you will see the B is no more here, so ACD. So this is the technique, basically splitting a string at a delimiter. So now we are starting our task 24 for solving, and it's a calling functions. So basically functions are used, the calling functions are methods. A function is a self-contained procedure or operation, you can say, that you can invoke by name. In invoking it, you can provide the data to the function known as an argument, and then the function in turn can return a result based on its operation. So here we see the how to the call in function. So it's a function first of all, and it's a static, it's a fixed, so we can write the function basically, but not for the calling. We are just not creating function. So we have learned about the how to call the function. So function name, so let's suppose I have my function. It's not exist basically here because we are not creating it, not to learn about the how to create a function. We have just learn about how to call a function, and inside the parentheses we just pass the value, or we have just passed an argument like this, and I have just passed a name like is Wakas, and here is the calling of function name. This is a function name, and inside the function we have passed an argument basically. So here is also, if a function return a value, you can use that function call wherever you would use any other text or numeric value. For instance, you can assign a value to a variable, and if a function expects no argument, you will still need to parentheses. It means it with no argument. So by calling function, you still needs the parentheses. So that is the thing. And another thing I have told you that also be a variable name. We have calling assign a function to the variable name, like as we have created a variable my function result. We have created a variable my function result, or we have just created name, smaller name is a result. And so this is also correct, that the function returns a value, so we can store in any variable, and then when we want to use this result, so we call only this variable, so we can call this function also. And similarly, you could use the result of one function as an argument to another function, like as if I have a two function, so I can write here my function to inside the function. Basically this is a one function I have called, and inside the function I have passed an argument as a function, so this is also right. And a JavaScript function I have just show about you to use, how to use, basically how to call in function. It's called a skip function basically. So we are just going to write here and how to use this function basically. So we have created a variable here, it's called var equal to like as a b c, and we have just passing a value here. Skip is a by default function of JavaScript and used for the encryption basically. So skipping your text, so I have just passed here like as something, how are you, and I've passed, but before this pass I have must use a function, because I have calling the function, and function is kept here, and inside the function I have already told you before that if no any argument, otherwise we must be use a parenthesis, either it's a no any argument passing inside the function. So now we just get a result here by using document.write here, and just inside it's a b c. So it's our task 24 I think. In task 24 the results are not showing, so why, where we just mistake here. It's a variable skip escape, it's 100% right, so why it doesn't work, I've just checked it. So guys, error is here. We have just write skip function with a capital E, but it says in small e, and now you can see here the results here, how are you, basically it's in encryption format. So this is the skip is a basic function of the JavaScript is a built-in function. So now we starting to resolve our task number 25, and it's about to alerting the user. So the window object basically in the JavaScript, the window object provides the alert method which allows you to display a simple dialog box containing a text message followed by a single button. User can use the acknowledge message just for the acknowledge. The alert means user just taking acknowledge message without by rejecting them or accepting yes or no. It's the only simple type of dialog box with a single button. So we can see how to print it, and inside there it's a very simple, and just say it's a window because it's not a document, it's a window. I have already told you the window object provides the alert method window.alert, and parenthesis, inside the parenthesis we have just passed a message here. Let's suppose hello world, and we are just saving at the task 25, and when we are opening task 25 you will got a message hello world by using a single button, and whenever you're trying to refresh this page you will got this message basically, so hello world. So this is the alert of alerting the user. So we can alert our user basically when they are logged successfully, or just reject user ID or password or something else. This is a very useful method. So by it's only passing window.alert, and when your message here, type here, so it shows on the screen. So the task 25 is complete. We will meet in next. So now we starting our task number 26. It's a confirming with a user. So in addition to the alert method discussed, we have already discussed in previous lecture in task 25, the Windows method or Windows object also provides us a confirm method which allows you to display a dialog box containing a text message followed by two buttons. The two buttons like as a OK and a cancel. So the user can use the acknowledge or reject the message and close the dialog box. Typically these buttons are labeled with the OK and cancel, as I already told you. So we are just creating here, and before we are creating, okay, so we are creating. So first of all, we have created just a script block, and a script block is here, and then we have just write that the windows.confirm, and again here we have click here, right here, click OK to continue, and we have just saved it and just take our result. We have already opened the task 26.html, and you will see here it's a confirming with the user object or a window is appeared in our screen. It's a click OK to continue, and it has a two buttons, one OK and other one's a continue. So we are just, but how we just see the result in our dialog box? Basically the dialog box confirms from the user that either the condition is true or false. The dialog box created by window.confirm method are quite a generic and have a clear indications that they come from the current web pages or Internet Explorer or Firefox or something else. So it's a places, it's a name, and it's a title bar in the JavaScript application like as another. So this is done by the security, for the security, so you can't pop up the dialog box with these methods that represent itself, that's anything but you, but the result of the JavaScript that running in the current page. So window.confirm, basically the method returns a value either true or a false. So how can we have just getting a value from window.confirm? So we have just write a variable and variable name called like a result, and then we assigning a value, this value to our variable just for getting the result either it's a true or false. When we are just click on OK, so it comes back to the true result, and when we are just clicking cancel, so it comes back to the false. So now see, it's a document dot write for just getting a print message on our so document dot write, and in the document dot write we have just passed the result, and now we see the result here. So it doesn't work. Why? It's a variable window.confirm document.write, and it's a BR. Basically BR is a HTML tag and it can't be used inside that. So when we are just click OK, it come back, or it's written back as value is a true, and you see I have the print message is a true because we have clicked on OK, and if we have click on cancel, so it returns as a false value. So this is the confirming with the users. So that our task is completed. So now we starting our task number 27, and it's about the creating your own functions. And before this lecture we have already discussed in the task 24 about the calling functions, that not only does the JavaScript have a large body of the built-in functions and methods, it also allows you to create your own function. Creating a function is a fairly and straightforward in JavaScript. So the advantage here is that if you have a task or operations that you will repeat it multiple times in your application, you can encapsulate it in a function once and then call the functions multiple times instead of repeating the code multiple times in your application. So it's a very easy. So how to create a function? So first of all, we have just creating a script block and we have already written it, and we have then must be passing a function then the name of function, we create a hello, and no any argument, we have just passed in our functions a hello, and then curly bracket is start and curly bracket using the curly brackets we have already discussed in the task 8. So if you are not listen my lecture or task 8, so first of all you must be listen my lecture and just watch my lecture, not to listen but watch my lecture, and must be know how to use the curly brackets. So here we go to start, and we have just created our first function. It's a called document.write, and inside document we have just passed hello world. Save this function, but before this function we have already tasked in task 24 that if you have a successfully created function but it doesn't work unless you call this function in your web page or in your program. So we have just created this function successfully. We save this lecture 27, and here you see it's a no result, no printing, because this is the creating of function. We have just successfully created function but not the calling function in our script. So we have must be called this function like as a hello, and now you see result. Now you see the result hello, because this is the method of the calling function and this is the function writing. So typically you will not use a function just to display a dialog box. You want to build a function to perform more complex tasks that you will need to repeat multiple times in your application. This is just used to illustrate that how to create a function. So this is basically we have just successfully create our own function. It's a not basically built-in function hello. Let's type as a sort, or that we have already used in our applications a find or search and sort. So this is our creating own function. So our lecture, our task is completed. So here we start our task number 28. It's a passing an argument to your functions, and before this lecture we saw in the previous lecture of task 27 that how to create a function, but we didn't pass any argument in our function. Our previous lecture, the task 27 showed you how to create a function only, but the function created in that task did not accept any argument. To create a function that accept arguments, you must specify the name for each argument in the argument definition. Again, to create a function that accept arguments, you must be specify the names for each argument in your argument definition. So here we start and we are creating a next or a function with the passing in argument. So here we start, we have just created like as a squaring numbers. So we have just created a function. It's a like function, then function name. It's about like suppose squaring of the numbers. So we have just name is square, and it's a curly bracket, but we have just passed here inside the square is one argument must be is called a number here. So and inside the function we have just created like as a variable for just getting results back result, and again after the results we have just equal to is a number and multiply by number. So this is the formula of square. squaring any number, because we have just passed here a number like as a 10. So inside the result we have assigned the result is a number multiplied by number. It means the 10 multiplied by 10, and if a number value goes to the 100, so it here is the 100 multiplied by 100. So this is the basic formula of squaring here. So we have just taking a results and just type here is a document dot write, and inside here we pass the result. And now is the main function. We have just passing in arguments. The argument names in the introductory paragraph should appear in an order in which the arguments will be provided when the function is being called. When the function is being called, it's a must. The list of the name essentially creates a variable accessible only inside the function. So this variable is inside this function, so this is the accessible for only this function, but not only for the all pages, but this variable. But this square we can easily access from any our script or any page of this basically the website or web pages. So here it's only inside the function, and it throws these the variables that you can access the work with an argument data provided when the function is called. To make effective use of functions, you need to be sensitive or to the logic of your application. The functions are useful encapsulating program logic that you will repeat multiple times, as we discussed already in our previous lecture. So here we go and pass a number, and let's suppose like as a square is our function first of all, and this is the basic method of calling any function. And here we pass in arguments like a 10, and now you will see the result is it's a 10 passing here inside the number. So here automatically it's a number value is a 10, and the result value is a 10 multiplied by 10 is equal to 100. So we have just saved it and go to our JavaScript folder and ask here. So we refresh and it doesn't be work. Why it doesn't be work? We have just seen that the square, oh sorry, we have calling this function inside the function, but we must be called this in the outside of function. So we getting a result, and you will see here we are getting the result is a 100. It's a square of 10. So we have just, if we want to getting the square of 5, so we have just click here, and square of 5 is 25. 5 multiply 5. So here is a simple formula. It's a variable result, and assign a result. We have just created a number multiply by number. It means a 5 multiplied by 5, and result it written back to save the value inside the result. So here the results are printing, and we have just calling this function by passing an argument of 5. So our task 28 is complete. I hope you will understand, and if you have any query relating this lecture, you will be feel free to contact me. Okay. So now we are starting our task number 29. It's a returning values from your functions basically. And in the task 28 you have created a function. You created a function that squares the numbers and then output the result. The problem with this function that it isn't very practical, because instead of outputting the result of the operation like as we have just going over previous lecture, so instead of this we have just talking about this, instead of the outputting the result, so we have just output result inside the function. So it is not a very practical. So that's why we have just going to our task 29, so returning a value that the operation what you really want to do, return the result, so that the result can be assigned a variable or use a mathematical expression like as to list. So here we start, and to illustrate this, the following task we have just created. So function is squaring number that returns the result instead of the outputting it. Basically this is the output inside the function, and we are just, it's not a practical method of the JavaScript. So we have just created a function basically here, and by using the return value, so again same is a square function, and we have just copied it for just saving our time. we have just copied it function and just passed it, but we have just removed this line basically here. So here all is the same variable and result, but we have just used our basic technique is called the return. It's a return, and what should be written? It's a result. Our variable is a result. So in which variable assign a value, it automatically returns to our function. And now we are just printing here basically, and the technique is there. We have just created a variable like as a square number, and we have assigned a value. It's a call like as a square. We have just calling our function. Inside the function we have just passing here value a 10, and now we are just write the document and printing our value on a screen, the document dot write. And here we have just passing our variable like as a square number. So we copied it and pasted it, and now you will see the result. The result is same, but it's returning a value by using the returning method. So here we have just created another variable, and in the variable we are passing calling a function, and the value is the result returns the value to a square. And like as if we pass a 10, and here is the 10, so 10 multiplied by 10, it will be the result to the 100. So result, it automatically return the result. It's 100 returned in the square, so square will be 100, so value will be 100, and it's automatically assigned to a square number. And when we are going to print here, it's a document dot write, so square number value is 100 and its result should be 100. So we have just checked it and task, and you will see the result here is 100, so result 100. And we have just changing our value from here like as a 7, and you will see it's a result 49, I think. So it's a 49. So this is the value, and this is a self method by passing the returning value and the following task. These are the following tasks basically. So we have completed our task number 29, and regarding this lecture, if you have any query, just contact me with my email or my WhatsApp or by using the comments. So thank you. Now we're starting our task number 30, and it's a passing multiple parameters or arguments to your functions basically. And in the previous task, it's a 29, 28, you created a functions that took a single argument, but you also can create a function that take a multiple arguments. To do so, you must be specify the name for each argument in your argument definition, and these names should be in order in which the arguments you will provided when your function is being called. The list of names essentially creates a variables accessible only inside the functions, as I already told you before in the previous lectures. So, and it throw these variables that you can access and work with arguments that are provided when the function is being called. So here we start our variable by passing the two arguments, and it's a function for use for just addition by the two numbers. So we have just write here addition function, and inside the argument we have just passed a number 1 like as a number 1, and by using the comma we have just like the number 2, and here we have just same thing, that the variable we have created a variable called results is equal to, and it's a number 1 plus number 2. So here we result our number 1 we have just giving inside outside from the function by calling the function. When we are just calling, we'll be just calling the function. So we have passed the two numbers basically inside the number 1. It will be let's suppose the 10, and inside the number 2 value will be going on to 5. So here is the number here value number 1 is a 10 and number 2 is a 5. So the result written back to assign to a result, and when we have just getting a result, assigning a result to our res variable. So we have just passed here return res. It means this variable, inside this variable data is automatically returned to the our addition function. And the same thing we have just calling is just write a variable, and variable is 8 is equal to addition. We are calling the function, inside the we are passing two numbers like as a 10 and 20. So in the town we have just getting our result on browser. So we have written the same thing is a document.write, and inside here we pass just 8, and now we here go and just taking our result, and you will see is a 30 because the sum of or addition of the two numbers. So we have just changed here, let's suppose a 50 and it's a 70, so save it, and you will see here result is 120. So this is our task 30 is complete by passing the multiple parameters in your functions. So the task is completed. So here we starting our task number 31. It's a calling functions from the text. So it's a really very nice method using by the JavaScript or used by the JavaScript. So one of the benefits of JavaScript is able to interactivity to elements of the HTML pages. One way you can do this is to set up the links in the HTML that actually trigger calls on JavaScript functions when the link is clicked. So we have just write our function and see. First of all, we have creating a function. The method of function creating a function is the same function. Then we just write a function is called alert message. When user click on the particular link, so it will be automatically called. So this is the calling functions from the text. So here we no any argument we need to just pass inside, and we have just write here the window dot alert. We have already learned in the previous lectures. So inside here we have just passed a text is a call, hello, you have clicked the link. And now technique is here. So we just passing inside the text. So inside the body we are using anchor and then hyperreference, and by hash sign that it appears to be our text as convert as a link by passing this hash. And if I just remove it, so it can't be understand that it's a link or something else, so we must be pass hash for a blank link or dummy link. So here is a basically methods on click. So the on click is an event handler. This means they specify the JavaScript code to execute when an event occurs, and in this case the event must be and in this case the event that must occurs is a click event. The user must click on this link and when our results appear. So we have just click here, it's an event handler of the JavaScript. So inside here we just calling this function and our function is there. So we have just calling here the when user click on this link basically, so call this message from the JavaScript. So and inside that after here inside click me, so we have just create a link and the text is a click me and we passing a link out on this click me. So when user click here, so it automatically on click this function run or this function call, and inside this function is a message print on a screen by using the method alert. So hello, you have clicked on this link basically. So we have just going here our and just open our task, and here is a click me, you will see here, and when we are just click here, it's a message show hello, you have clicked the link. So this is the basically method of the JavaScript by passing a tag and use. So this is the event handler on click, and the question of which technique to use really depends on your circumstances and needs. For instance, with the on click you can also specify the URL for the follow when the link is clicked of the JavaScript can be executed, and then the link will be followed. You can't do that with the javascript.url approach. So here we can easily pass any link by when we are just trying to open our link from by using the JavaScript method of JavaScript. So on click we have also passed a link or something else. So our task 31 is complete, and for this task if you have any query, just contact me. Feel free to contact me on my WhatsApp number or by passing a comments or just email me. So that's all. So here we go to just resolving our task number 32, and just start the calling your JavaScript code after the page has loaded. And it means what the page has loaded. So sometimes you will need, or sometimes you will want to execute a JavaScript code only run once the HTML page has fully loaded. So doing this requires for the two steps. Basically, the place your code, the place the code you want to execute after a page has completed loading in your function, or the use the onload attributes of your body tag to call the function when your HTML page has been loaded fully. So we have just calling a function, we have created a function, and then we have just typed as a hello, and inside the function we calling a method window.alert for just getting that our page has after our page has loaded our function will be work or not. So here we have just click here and call the function called on body, onload, onload. So inside the body we have just create is a onload. What is the onload? Onload is an event handler. This means is specified the JavaScript code to execute when an event occurs. In this case, the event that must occur is the completion of loading your documents. Onload as compared to the like as a on click we have just used in our previous lectures. So here I just calling the function is called the hello, and inside the function I have just called it, and now see the result. So we have just opening and the function called on load. So function has been successfully called on load. So this is our onload. Basically our task has been completed and we are moving. So now we are starting our task number 33, and it's a very interesting topic we have choose today. It's using for loops. So what is the loops? Basically, first of all we have just know about what's a loop and why we need to use loops in our websites or web pages. So using for the loops or using of loops, sometimes you will not want your code to proceed in a straight linear the fashion. In these situations you will want to make use of flow control techniques to adjust the way, like as you adjust the way that your processing of your code proceeds basically. And one of the best technique is a looping, which allows you to specify that the section of the code repeats one or more times before proceeding with the rest of your script basically. So this is the main function of the loop we have used in our pages, and it's a very common. So first of all we have just write here our loop. Let's suppose, and inside this we have just called this a is equal to 1, and then a less than equal to 10, then a plus plus like s. So first of all, we understand what exactly things doing here, and the code written here for as execution. So what is this? Typically for loops use an index variable to count, and on each interaction of the loop the index variable values changes basically. So usually used for incrementing until the index variable reaches the sum limits value. For instance, the following loop counts for 1 to 10 using the variables like as a variable. So condition, the controlling of the loop breaks down into the 3 parts separately here, the semicolon, basically the 3 parts. So the first part specified the initial value of the index variable. This will be the value on the first interaction of the loop. So it's a 1, it start from the 1, basically it's a starting position like as you call or you like to say. And the second part is specified the condition that the index variable must meet for the next interaction for the loop to occur. Basically this test occurs before each interaction of the loop, including the first, like as starting from the first, and it's a condition check until unless it's a run, unless a value changes and equal or it's a like as less than or equal to 10 until its loop runs, and by using the increment is a plus plus. The third part indicates how to change the value index variable at the end of each iteration of the loop. In this case, the index variable is incremented by 1. A plus plus, it means a plus plus. What the a plus plus? A plus plus is called the a equal to a plus 1. This is the basically a plus plus work. Either we have just write here a is equal to a plus 1. The both conditions are true, either this one or we have just written here by using increment a plus plus. It automatically increases the 1 because a value, if it come from the initial value is a 1, then a is a 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, and they assign the value 2 here. And when it's a come here value is a 2, then equal to 2 plus 1 is a 3, and assign the 3 value inside the a. So here the a plus plus basically so works. So here our condition is, so first of all we have just click here and use for execute our code, and for the printing on our screen we have just used the document.write, as you know all already before, the document.write, and then we have just called here it's inside the a, and a continuation it's a br for the break a line, and when it's a come it's a print number 1, then break a line automatically, then comes here it automatically change the value a here is a 2, and then it's a check condition either meet or not, or condition true or false, and it says that the 2 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, it's a condition true, and then here going here to print the message a, and after that it's an increment 1 by 1 using by the 1. So we have just trying here and see the results, how the results here, and you will see here it's a printing from 1 to 10 because it runs the 10 times loop. It's a condition starting value is a 1, and until unless value is a run when its value reached to the 10, and when we have just create here is a 15, and now you will see the result. It's printing from 1 to 15, and if just I passed here the 5, and it runs from the 5 to 15. So here is the technique, basically loop use the loop badge for the flow control, such as that they created with a loop for loop. Basically it's not the only type of the flow control. Another type follow of the control is a conditionally branching, such as illustrated in the task 34. The loops created with the for command are typically called index based loop. Another form of the looping is condition based looping, which is discussed in task 36 inshallah. So our lecture 33 is completed, and we are moving to lecture number 34. Now we starting to resolve our task number 34, and it's a testing condition with the if. If it's a conditional statement basically. So as I mentioned in the previous task, sometimes you will not want your code to proceed in a straight linear fashion. In this situation you will want to make a use flow of control techniques to adjust the way of processing of your code's proceeds basically. So and one of the basic or one of the such a great technique is a conditional branching looping, which allows you to specify that a certain section of code execute only when a certain code exists, and if a code does not exist it will not run basically. So the condition we have just write here like as a if. So condition here we pass the any condition and then JavaScript code here. So the condition is any expression of value that evaluates down to true or false, and typically this means performing some type of compression operation such as testing equality, when we are just trying to use or just getting a result from user either it's a true or in the false. The windows.confirm method returns a true if the user click OK and false if the user clicks on cancel. We have already learned in the task 26 it's confirming with the user. So if the window is open here, I have showed you, I will show you that in the task 26 I think, yeah, here, and when we are just clicking here it's written true, and when we are clicking cancel it return false. So basically this is exactly this means. So we have just written back a value from user, either it's a true or it's a false. So here is a condition, it's only certain of code execute only when the certain condition exists. So to illustrate the effective use of if statement, the following present dialog box basically here. So we have just written here when user click OK it comes to true, or when click cancel to it come a false, and we have just changed this statement from yes or no or click OK or click cancel. So we have just created a variable and then user is equal to like as a window.confirm, and we have just click here, click OK to continue. We are passing basically this message, or this message for only for the user showing. So here we just type here, and this is not inside the if, so we have just outside from the if, and when we are trying to evaluate this, so we evaluate inside the condition. So condition we have just write here that if some user is equal to true, it means that if a user value is equal to true, it means when a user click OK and the window.confirm confirm that user clicked OK and the value assigned to the user is a true, and if user is equal to true, document.write. So we have just write here code and printing our message on the screen. So document.write, and what should write on our screen is user clicked OK. And the same thing we have just copied this all and just paste it, and user is equal to false, user clicked cancel. So we are going to our task number, and when we click OK it's a user clicked OK. It's not comes to the true or false like this. It's a task 26. See here, so when we are click OK, its message comes to true, or when we are click cancel, it comes false. But here is a different thing. When we are using click on OK, it's a user clicked OK, and it's trying cancel, user click cancel. It means our condition just trying to check the condition if user click OK or it's a cancel. So it's a different type of message printing on our screen. So here's our task number 34 is complete. So now we are starting our task number 35 using a short form condition testing. In the previous lecture we have learned about how to check a condition with the using if statement, but in this lecture we have just write a code as a short form condition testing code. Here the JavaScript provide a short form method of testing condition and then returning a value based on the condition. It's a very useful when you want to assign a value to a variable. If condition is true, it gets a one value, otherwise it gets an other value. So here we go and start how to check or how to check condition, test a condition without using if statement. So we have created a variable, it's called variable, and like as a my var is one, it's a variable, it's depend upon you. So or just my choice is equal to like as a window.confirm is a same method we're using, we have used in previous lectures. So click OK to continue, and here is the technique. We have created a variable is a result, it's a short form conditional checker result. We have created another variable and we have just passed here, we have just passed inside the user choice. Basically it's a my choice variable. My choice is equal to true, and here is that we are using the technique is by passing a question mark, and then it's a OK or either it's a cancel. Here's OK. And for the getting result, as you know all, we have just write a method document.write, and inside we have passed the result here, and now see the results are same or can be different. And when we are click OK, you will see it's a message print OK, and when I click cancel, it messages print on our screen it's a cancel, but I think it's misspelling cancel, spell C-A-N-C-L, so it's correct here. So when we are click here, it's a cancel shows, and when we click OK, it's comes on our screen, it's OK printing on our screen, it's OK. So this is basically the both techniques are same. We have just learned about in the previous lecture in task 34, and in this lecture we have learned the same thing by using the short form condition testing. So this is a very useful technique. Basically when you want to assign a value to a variable, if condition is true, it gets a one value, and its condition false, it gets an other value to your variable. So we have just completed task number 35. So now we are starting our task number 36. It's a looping on a condition, and in this previous task 33, you saw an example of a for loop. This loop was used for counting, and another useful type of loop is a conditional loop basically. So the form of this loop is a simple, it's a while loop. It's only for checking a condition. Inside the loop we can easily check our condition, either it's true or false. So we have just write here while loop first of all we have just created a condition is here, and then the curly brackets, and inside the JavaScript code here. A conditional loop contains or continues. A conditional loop continues as long as a single condition is true. Once the condition becomes false, the loop ends. So basically the use of the loop by checking condition by using the loop is that the conditional loop continues as long as a single condition is true, and once the condition become a false, the loop ends. The condition must evaluate to true or false before each iteration of a loop. The condition is tested. If it's a true, another iteration of a loop happens, otherwise the loop stops. So it's a basic mean of loop, of the basic usage of loop is this. So we are just creating here and seeing how to work a loop. But first of all, we have created a variable here, is called result is equal to window.confirm, like a same thing, because the window.confirm method is returning us a value in true or false. So then we are using this basically repeatedly in our all tasks. So we are creating here, click OK to continue, and the same line we have just copied it, and here we are just passing our condition. If in the previous lecture we are passing condition inside the if statement, so same thing we are passing here is a result is equal to false. Until the results become a true, our loop until the result become a false, our loop is continuously running, and when it's a finally condition will be true, so our loop is terminated. When we are clicking, just click on confirm, will be click on confirm, or confirm, or click cancel, so the res result will automatically false, so it loop run until it's true. So we are just passing here, and when the res result is false, so loops is run, and once loop runs, so it automatically printing the same message here. So click OK to continue, and when we are just click here the OK, so loop terminate automatically and condition will be not true, so the message will be print here, the document.write you have chosen OK finally. So and unless loop is run until the condition will be false. So we have to check here and just clicking on the 36, and when I just click on OK, and it shows me you have chosen OK finally. But if I click cancel, so what's the result? When I click cancel, the loop is runs automatically, and inside the loop it's the same thing, window.confirm. So when I click, it can't be work, because it again and again and again and again the loop is the same thing run and the same thing. But when I just click OK, it prints a message you have chosen finally OK. Because of this, the loop will be terminated automatically. So this is the method of the loop, basically looping condition by using the loop. So I think that our task 36 is completed. So now we're starting our task number 37. It's a looping through an array. So the task 22, basically we have already discussed about an array. So what's the array? And I have just gave a simple definition of array. It's a set of number or containers for storing a value, for storing temporary value. Sometimes you will want to be able to looping through each elements in array. This can be done by using a for loop, so that indexes variable of loop matches one of the array indexes for each iteration through the for loop, and we are already illustrate for loop in task 33, I think. So to do this, you want to be able to dynamically determine for the length of an array, so that you can the set of conditions for loop. You do this with the length property basically. So we have learned in this lecture basically what's the length and how to use a length property of array. So we have just created an array, and array is a very easy to create it. I have already told you before the previous lectures that, or variable my array, and array name not should be my array, which you want to just set your name of the array, but I've just set it's a new array, and it's a new array here, and it must be in the capital alphabetical, and we have just passed here is indexes as a 5. We have passed in 5, and then as a same technique my array and is equal to not, it's passed just an index is a 0, and we have just equal to item 1, and copy the same line for 5 times because I have passed the 5 indexes inside. So here's the item 2, item 3, item 4, and item 5, item number 5. So here we pass the 1, 2, 3, and 4. So inside this that for loop, it must be or something. We have just write a condition is a for loop, and then here. So if I say that the I is equal to 0, because of the index it starts from the 0, so you can start counting at a 1, but this is because the first index is a 0 in your array. Similarly, you test for is being less than or not less than or equal to. Because of the length, you shouldn't know, or you are not knowing about the length. And if I set here is a or I is equal to, I is less than equal to 5, so it will count from the 0 to the 5. And if I say the 4 here, so it will count from the 0 to the 4, but here we have just write the 5 indexes, so we have just cut it and just set the result is less than I less than my array dot length. We have used here is a length, so we are do not know about the length. What's the length of this array basically? So it automatically determine and giving you the length of array, and then I plus plus as for increment until your length of array. So the length of array, this is because if the length of array is a 5, then the last index is a 4. As I told you that the last index is a 4, so I just passed this length in this lecture basically, or not here for the equal or less than. It's just sign the less than the length and I plus plus, and inside I have just passed a message. The same thing is a document dot write for just getting our result on our screen, and document dot write inside this is a my array like as same thing my, but indexes here I not pass any single index or 0 or 1 or 2. Here I pass just I, because I have just looping here for loop, just use a for loop, and index I is a less than my array length. So the length is not here is basically it doesn't matter. So what's the length of your array exactly you remember, but you just pass here your variable. It's a variable I here, so we have passed here, pass here, and it's a save, and it's a loop run until the length of array is accessed basically. So this is the condition. So we have just clicking here and you see the result, and now if we are just trying here to make another 5 loops here, and it's a 10, it's a 9, it's a 8, it's a 7, it's a 6, and here is a 5, it's a 6, it's a 7, it's a 8, and it's a 9, and just pass here the 10 indexes, and now you'll see the results the same, and it's 10 items print for the help of loop, because of we are just passing here my array dot length. So we have not mentioned basically length is a 9 or 10, because of our indexes start from the 0 and it end from the 9, and not basically for the on the 10. So our lecture or task number 37 is completed. If you have any query relating regarding this lecture, feel free to contact me on my email address, my WhatsApp, or today we start our task number 38 is the scheduling a function for future execution. So first of all, what's the future execution and why we need to do something like as a function for just a future execution? So sometimes you will want to execute a function in automated or scheduled way, like as a run your function after some time. So the JavaScript provides the ability the scheduled execution of a function at a specified time in the future when the appointed time arrives. So the function automatically executes without user intervention, without any user intervention. So here we start, and the scheduling of is done with a window.set time out, and after that the function to execute and the scheduled time when you want to execute your function, and the function to execute is specified as if you were calling the function normally but in the text string. So here you must be calling in this way in between the two comma or a special. So it's a must be as a text string. It treat as a text string. So in double quote you must be calling a function name in the double quote. So the text string contains the actual text of the command to execute this. The schedule time specify the number of in milliseconds. So it's a must be in a millisecond to wait before the executing a function. For instance, if you want to wait 1 second, so you mean your schedule of time, you can write here 1000 milliseconds. So time must be noted in milliseconds. So here we start. So first of all we write a function, and it's about the show message. Window.alert, we just taking the alert for getting our results. This is task 38. So the technique is here when we are just calling the function. So we are calling inside the window dot set time out, and calling a function must be treated as a text string. The argument is specifying the function to execute should be specified as a text string, and the string should include the complete call of the function, including any argument being passed to the function. If having any argument in this function, so we must be passed inside by the single quotes here. So we just write the show msg, no any argument inside our function, but if we have, so just pass the argument like this. And the other thing is that by separating the comma, and we are just give the time, the 5000 milliseconds is equal to the 5 seconds basically. So here we go to just taking our results and just wait for the 5 second. 1 2 3 4 and 5, and you see that the message automatically function execute after some time. So our task number 38 is complete. And now we are starting our task number 39. Is a scheduling a function for recurring execution. Recurring means a function repeatedly perform as after some time. Is that repeatedly run or repeatedly call your function. So the task 38 showed you how to schedule a function for single automatic execution in the future. But what if you wanted to schedule the same function to the execute repeatedly at the set intervals? So for this you do this you need to do two things basically. As the last command in a function of the use we windows set time, here we just copy here from here, and so the last time the command of the function use the window.set time to the reschedule the function execute again, and use the set time. The second thing, use window.set timeout outside of the function to schedule the initial execution of the function basically. So this line we have written here to just execute the function the first time, and if we want to repeatedly perform this function, it's called a recurring execution. So here we just set a 39 task, and we start at 3 seconds basically. So to the illustrate this, the following script creates a function that display an alert dialog box and the schedule in execute every 3 seconds. The alert dialog box will appear every 3 seconds. To get out of this, simply close the browser or window, and here we go and see our result is task 39, and you will see that every 3 seconds automatically appear. And I close this, okay, by pressing OK, and it's again without by refreshing it. So this is called the schedule a function for recurring executions that repeatedly the more than one time. So our task 39 is completed. So now we are starting our task number 40 is a cancelling a scheduled function. So in the task 38 and 39 basically you saw how to schedule a function for future execution using a window.set timeout. Using a related method, it's called a windows.clear timeout. You can cancel a schedule time. You can cancel schedule execution even before occurs. So here is the main thing for the cancelling of a schedule time. So when you create a schedule event by using the window.set timeout, we've just copied here from a function for it, just copied here from just it's a very easy to write again and again. So we just copied, and when you create a schedule event with the help of the window.set timeout method returns a pointer to that event, you can then use the pointer to cancel the scheduled events basically. So you simply pass the pointer to windows.clear time to just cancel, and we have just right here we have just create a variable. It's called variable my time, like suppose it's a clear my time. It's just a variable name, and after that we are just passing the whole line inside, and we have cut here, and now we are just cancel this by methods of window clear timeout. And inside this we have just passed our variable my time, and here we start just 1 second, it's 40, and here we start, and you can see here is a no result basically. We have just cancelled this function, we have cancelled by using the window dot clear timeout. So our task number 40 is complete. So now we are starting our task number 41. It's adding a multiple scripts to a page. So the JavaScript basically integrates into your HTML documents is a flexible way. In fact, there is nothing preventing you from having a multiple script blocks wherever you need to them, in the header, in the body, in the in any place of your documents. So the script blocks will be processed by the browser in order with the reset of the HTML page. So it's a no any preventing by the HTML or JavaScript. So you need to. So here we added a multiple blocks, like as a we have just write the document dot write, and inside this we have this is block 1, and after that by passing concatenation we have just break a line, and we have just copied this script basically. So our task is that adding the multiple scripts in your page, and inside the body we add a script again, and in this script we have just window dot alert this is block 2, but I think I am wrong. So we have just inside here this is task 1, and after that we have task, and we are still having no any need to just do this. It's a block 1 and it's a block 2, because the window.alert after a page has been loaded, it's shown automatically on your browser screen, and then you'll see this message print inside a form. So here we just loaded this is the block 1 and this is the block 2. So you saw that both blocks are work is perfect. It's the block 1 and blocks 2. So there is nothing preventing by the JavaScript or HTML to use. You can use easily multiple blocks in a single page. So our task 41 is complete. So now we are starting our last task in the JavaScript basic course. Basically it's a task number 43. Check if a Java is enabled with your JavaScript. So why you need to check this basically? So sometimes it's useful to know whether or not a JavaScript enabled in your browser, and to use that information is for basically composing your pages. For instance, based on that information you could dynamically adjust the content of your page to include or not include a Java based content. So luckily the JavaScript provides a simple mechanism for determining this by using the navigator.javascript Java enabled method. So this method returns true if your browser enable JavaScript, or false if you have not. So we are just it's a function, it's a navigator.java enabled. So first of all we create a variable and just name is a check equal to Java, and using this method after that we have just getting our result whether our JavaScript enabled or not in our browser. So JavaScript enable, and then plus concatenation with the check. So I already told you before that this method basically returns true or false. True in the condition when your JavaScript enable in your browser, otherwise it's a false. So here we start and check what's our results in our browser. It's a task 43. So we have just click and you will see our result. The JavaScript enable, it's a false. In our Firefox, this is the Firefox, I think. Yeah, it's a Firefox. So in Firefox it's by default false. Okay, so let me check in another browser. If in Google Chrome, so it's a false in Google Chrome also. Okay, let me check in Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer restriction activates. Okay, so here you can see it's a true. So it means the JavaScript enable in this browser is true, and other browser it's a false by default. So its result shows on the screen is a false. So our task number 43, it's a check if a Java is enabled with your JavaScript. Java is enabled with a JavaScript, so it's a Java enable function. And why might you want to test is if the Java is enabled in browser? One reason would be if you plan the output HTML code to embed a Java applet in the browser. So by testing first, you could output alternate HTML if the browser doesn't support the Java, or so our browser doesn't support by difficulties. It's a Java, not a JavaScript. Sorry, it's my mistake. It's a Java. So Java enable false by default in Firefox, Chrome, but it's by default enable in your browser Internet Explorer. So Java is enabled here. It's not a JavaScript, so guys, it's my mistake. So our task is complete. 43 task is complete. And not only the 43 task is complete, but also it's our JavaScript basic course complete. It's on the 43 task. It contains on the 43 tasks. So we'll be meet inshallah in our part number 2 of our